What's up, Ms. G? Today I'm gonna be doing my presentation on Douglas Wrong Way Corrigan, and you can peep the spot first, like a rocky forest, middle of nowhere. I don't even know. Anyways, upbringing. So Douglas was born January 22nd, 1907, in Galveston, Texas. His original name was Clyde Gross Corrigan, and after his parents split up, he moved to LA to work with his mom, and he quit high school to work in construction. That's when he changed his name to Douglas. And in October of 1925, a group of people went up in a Curtiss JN-4 near his home. That's the photo of the plane on the right. And Douglas paid $2.50 for a ride, which is like $45 today. And days later, he started his training. Start of his career. A company called Ryan Aeronautical Company was based near his flight school and employed him to their factory at 19. He installed the fuel tanks, instrument panels, and wings of Lindbergh's Spirit of St. Louis. And so seeing Lindbergh succeed, it inspired Douglas, and he set his sights on Ireland. According to his friends, he even teased flying without permission. In 1928, Douglas worked as a mechanic at a new air tech school with over 50 students flying a day, so he could only fly on his lunch break. And that's another 4K image of him on the right. Getting his flight skills. Douglas would do aerobatic stunts when he got the chance to fly, and his favorite maneuver was a chandelle, which is like a slow climbing turn, and he chained strings of up to 12 maneuvers, including some spiraling close to the ground. So, using his coworker's plane to train his practical skills, he got his transport pilot certificate in 1930. And after a short career in barnstorming, he moved to California and bought a 310 Curtiss Robin OX5, which is the plane on the left, and went back home to modify it for his transatlantic flight. Transatlantic flight prep. In 1935, Doug, all his friends called him Doug, so I'm going to call him Doug too. So Doug applied to the Bureau of Air Commerce and sought permission to make a continuous flight from New York to Ireland. He got disapproved as his plane was deemed unfit. He would continue to modify his plane over 2 years, but all applications were denied. He was going to arrive to New York late, so after all the officials had left, he was just going to fly out from there without permission, just do it illegally. But mechanical problems extended his flight for 9 days, and this put him past the safe stretch of weather across the Atlantic. So he returned to California and he named his plane Sunshine, ironically. Again, another photo on the right. In 1938, he wanted to fly to Floyd Bennett Field, which is that field on the right. It's on like the bay, and that is in Brooklyn. So he had gotten his experimental license, he repaired his engine, and he had finally gained permission for a transcontinental flight. On his 27-hour flight to New York, he developed a gas leak that filled the cockpit with fumes, and he arrived to Floyd Bennett Field completely unannounced and with a leak. So after he had landed, he decided that fixing the leak would just take too long and it wasn't really important. So he just logged himself as flying back to California, and he took off runway 6. So instead of flying back to California, he unknowingly just kept flying east. And he reported noticing his mistake 26 hours in the flight. And this contradicts his claim that after 10 hours, he felt his feet go cold. And that was because the floor was filling up with gasoline from that unrepaired tank. So he thought on his feet and used a screwdriver to puncture a hole in the floor. And he made sure it was away from the exhaust pipe so the plane didn't explode in midair. So that was pretty smart. And all this time, he said that he was unaware that he was over water for 26 hours. And claiming he had nowhere safe to land, he increased the engine speed 20% to speed up the flight. And that's another flattering photo of him on the right. So post-flight and return, Douglas landed Douglas landed at the Baldonnel Aerodrome in County Dublin, which is in Ireland, after a 28-hour flight. Interviews found that his provisions consisted of 2 chocolate bars, 2 boxes of fig bars, and a quart of water. And the fig bars, those are the things on the right. They're kind of mid, but some people like them. And the plane was returned to New York along with Doug. And he returned to a massive celebration, so massive that more people attended his parade than Lindbergh's parade. And he also got another parade in Chicago, and he got to meet Roosevelt at the White House. So all in all, welcome him back with open arms. A bit after his arrival in Ireland, an interview was conducted, but it wasn't posted until 1941. And it revealed the horrible state of his airplane. And his airplane had no radio. That's why he came in unannounced. a 20-year-old compass, a door that he was crouched behind was held together with bowling wire, which I looked at Target and you can get like 125 feet for $5. And the fuel ahead of him were mounted to where you could only see out of the side, so you couldn't see anything out of the front. And his reserve tanks made it to where he had to hunch forward to where you couldn't even see the ground during landing. It's not like you could really see anything anyways. So for all that, got a 14-day suspension. His retirement and rest. After his adventure, he starred in a movie called The Flying Irishman, where he made $75,000, which is like 1.3 million in today's money. So he sold merchandise, including a backwards running watch, and in 1950 he retired to grow 18 acres worth of oranges, and he was elected to be an honorary member of the Liars Club of America, but for whatever reason he denied. And those are all my references. So yeah, till next time.